IFSCA and is responsible for the overall development of IFSC in India. Ladies and gentlemen, the Executive Director, International Financial Services Centers Authority, please welcome Dr. Dipesh Shah. Dr. Shah, thank you so much. What a pleasure it is to have you. I request you to take the seat beside Mr. Vasani. Bahut shukriya. My next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, having more than 20 years of experience, he is recognized as a leading real estate professional in the Gujarat region. He has been involved in delivery of various service offerings, tenant representation, investment sales, disposition strategies, and lease and sale of office spaces, along with the sale cum lease back for clients. Ladies and gentlemen, his experience in transactions ranges from office and retail space, projects to warehousing, to land and capital markets as well. The Senior Director and Head of Transaction, Gujarat, Cushman and Wakefield, India Private Limited, Mr. Jigar Mota. Can we please have Mr. Jigar over here on stage? Thank you so much. Good to see you again. My next speaker over here, ladies and gentlemen, with over 25 years of experience, he has been contributing to the development of India's first operational smart city and international financial services center and the gift city for more than a decade. He heads planning, architecture, landscape and environment department and is closely involved in advancing urban planning and development control regulations, sustainable infrastructure, fast-track construction approvals, multi-stakeholder coordination, and project management. Basically, you say it all, you name it all, he's doing it all. The Chief Planner and Senior Vice President, Gift City, Loveleen Garg. Can we please have Mr. Garg over here? Bahut shukriya. Mr. Garg, thank you. Good to see you again. Always a pleasure to have you. My next speaker over here, ladies and gentlemen, has nearly 3 decades of experience in construction and real estate development, and he's also a serial entrepreneur, having started an alternative energy firm and a software firm which developed solutions. He's the co-founder of Ideal Choice Homes, a company engaged in design and development of precast concrete solutions. Tech venture Z-Axis unmanned machines engaged in the manufacture of drones, cloud computing, and AI ML startup. Ladies and gentlemen, the Managing Director, Bakeri Group, Pavan Bakeri ji. Thank you so much, Mr. Bakeri, for joining us. What a pleasure to have you as well. And my next speaker over here, with more than 23 years of experience in finance, accounting, fundraising, and general management, he has absolute in-depth knowledge when it comes to diverse subject matters and possesses excellent organizational as well as motivational skills. He led the strategic demerger of Nila Spaces from its parent company, Nila Infrastructures Limited, allowing it to focus extensively on real estate growth and propelled its success. Please make some noise for the Director of Finance and CFO Nila Spaces, Prashant Sarkhedi ji. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Come on, Ahmedabad, show us what you got. All of you clapping and praising for all these stalwarts over here. Chintan bhai, over to you.
Thank you. Hello. थैंक यू सो मच. इसके लिए एक बार जोरदार तालियां. द वे ही ये जो माहौल क्रिएट कर देता है ना, ही इज जस्ट नेक्स्ट लेवल. और जो भी इसको फॉलो नहीं करता, यू जस्ट हैव टू गो ऑन इंस्टाग्राम एंड चेक हिज अकाउंट. बॉलीवुड का ऐसा कोई सेलिब्रिटी बाकी नहीं है जिसके साथ उसने पॉडकास्ट नहीं किया हो. लेट्स गिव हिम अ राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज एंड थैंक यू रियल्टी प्लस फॉर ऑलवेज हैविंग हिम. आई वाज कमिंग बिफोर पैनल डिस्कशन, तृप्ति जी बोल रही है अरे मतलब मॉडरेटर के लिए तो बहुत इजी होता है, खाली क्वेश्चंस पूछने होते हैं. हाँ, बहुत इजी होता है, पर जब ऐसा पैनल हो इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग तो यार थोड़ा और डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है क्योंकि मेहनत ज़्यादा करना पड़ता है. बट आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टुडे. आई हैव बीन गिवन दिस टॉपिक which is an interesting fact again. The third most trending thing in India in real estate. Number 1 is Delhi NCR. सब लोग ऑनलाइन जाके क्या सर्च कर रहे हैं इंडिया में, दिल्ली एनसीआर के बारे में सर्च कर रहे हैं. सेकंड, विच इज़ द कॉस्टलीस्ट होम इन इंडिया, उसके बारे में सर्च होता है. और थर्ड, सबसे ज़्यादा सर्च आज इंडिया में अगर कुछ होता है तो गिफ्ट के बारे में होता है. बट इसका एक बुरी भी चीज़ है, गिफ्ट के बारे में आज भी बहुत कम मटीरियल है देखने के लिए. तो मैं बहुत एक्साइटेड हूँ. थैंक यू रियल्टी प्लस. देयर इज़ अ चांस फॉर अ 1 million यूट्यूब कमिंग आउट फ्रॉम दिस. So I'm very happy to be part of that. Again, a strong panel. Let's give a round of applause to each one of them. Over the next 45 minutes, we'll try to understand what the tenants and investors want, to what developers need to deliver, and to how regulators are enabling cross-border business. That is the target out of this panel discussion. I've got a 15-minute call yesterday from a very dear friend whom I call my mentor also, Shah. And he has told me, make sure gift के ऊपर तू जो भी content बना रहा है वो बहुत तगड़ा होना चाहिए. मैंने बोला मेरे को इतना बड़ा तगड़ा panel मिला है तो 100% I'm going to do the best on it. Jigar, I want to start with you because I've got a lot of chance to interact with you on CNBC Property Guru. हम लोग हमेशा online मिलते हैं पर आज physically मिल रहे हैं. Gift City's leasing and transaction activity is often cited as the thermometer of its commercial viability. How would you describe current demand dynamics in Gift City? Which sectors and occupiers are driving the transaction today? And how sustainable is the demand for the next 3 to 5 years?
First of all, when we really talk about Gift, as you rightly mentioned, this is a sort of a moment of pride for not only Gujarat as a state, but India as a country. This is India's first IFSC, which is shaping up. When we really talk about the current level of demand is really good. There are lot of interest coming out from lot of international players. When we say international players, and you rightly mentioned in some of the cases, there is a less been spoken for Gift City. I won't say there is not much of to look at it because then it is already being shaped up as India's first greenfield smart city. And all these amenities we can really witness to, we can go there and we can see that practically. So there is a lot to see there. But when we really talk about the real demand, there is a good amount of demand coming in from a lot of international players, be it semiconductor industries, be it semiconductor designing companies. There are a lot of semiconductor manufacturing companies also who are really, really interested to set up their large-scale offices in Gift City. Again, like there is a lot of traction which is coming out from a lot of R&D, companies. ITITES is another kind of set of people who are really willing to set up their large offices in Gift City. And the only, reason to it that you get a world-class grade A office space in Gift City. And that normally you always miss out in, at least apart from the metros, you will miss out on all the smaller cities across India. So that kind of infrastructure and deliverables already been delivered on ground. And that's where we see a lot of demand coming in. Now, just to answer your second question for 3 to 5 years demand, it seems really, really good demand. But yeah, I mean, if we really look at, there is a lot to do. So what we see today and where we are really supposed to go, it's really a little far. So we see a lot of demand coming in for Gift City, especially when we really look at the nearby cities like Ahmedabad. There is a dearth of a grade A commercial supply. And that is really, really going to impact a lot, at least in another 2 years' time for Gift City. So obviously Gift really enjoying a good time and it is going to have a very, very good time going forward.
Interesting times ahead. Dr. Dipesh, let me come to you. IFSCA regulatory stance is central to positioning Gift City as an international finance hub. From the IFSCA view, what priority regulatory reforms or incentive structures are being pursued to attract global financial institutions, funds, family offices to Gift?
Thank you. I think at the outset I must compliment the organizers for choosing this very important topic. Can Gift be the next Singapore? I think it's probably a dream way back in 2008 when somebody considered that it is possible to create Singapore in India. And Gujarat, I think most of you are Gujaratis. So Gujarat mein kehવામાં આવે છે એ ટાઈમે everybody was saying આ તો ડે ડ્રીમિંગ છે, સવારે તમે સપના જોવો છો, કશું થવાનું નથી અહીંયા આવું બધું. This was 2008. 2015, suddenly people say that અહીંયા કંઈક થઈ રહ્યું છે, but they don't know. They will say કે અહીંયા 2 ટાવર છે, 2 બિલ્ડિંગ છે, બીજું કશું નથી Gift Cityમાં. 2020, suddenly you see a financial regulated inside. People say કંઈક financial activities થઈ રહી છે, એનાથી આગળ કશું ખબર નથી. 2026, where we are now, suddenly you have 28,000 people there, 1,400 companies are operating there. Every year, 300 companies are entering the IFFC zone. So why this is moving? Why it is moving towards probably the original statement, which is how can this be a better than Singapore? It is moving because of the simple reason that there is an economic activity which is getting generated in GIFT City. I think most of you from a real estate would have traveled several parts of the world, including Singapore, and probably I will also like to give an example of Lavasa here. Many of you would have visited Lavasa, and the simple reason that it has not succeeded, or I will not say not succeeded, but it has not achieved the desired outcome, is because the economic activity is missing. So when the economic activity is missing, it becomes more like a weekend place for people to go and come back. But GIFT City is not like that. It is actually an economic activity every day, 9:30. If you go to GIFT City, you suddenly find so much of traffic to enter the city. 6:30, when you want to get out of that place, it is difficult to get out because so many people are exiting at the same time. Now, this is happening because the large economic activity is now getting generated in GIFT City. And which are those activities which was just explained by Jigar, that there are multiple activities happening. But what is a spillover? Why this is getting a spillover? Because you have suddenly a university operating there. Now they need student housing. You have banks and global capability center coming in. They need large number of employees coming in. They also need support activities to be in and around the GIFT City. All this is probably helping one thing, creating more and more demand into GIFT City. It is good and bad on both sides, because the more demand with every news, what I see in GIFT City is the prices go up by 5%. Now every news is creating something and it is the prices are going up. I think that is what probably, if we have to discuss on this panel, is that if you really want to make it Singapore, and if we really want to generate larger economic activity, how we will be able to do? We cannot do in our traditional Gujarati style, demand vadare so price vadari do. This is not going to help, not the developers, not the entities coming in, not the GIFT City. I think the best policy which the people on this panel can think of and probably deliberate is, how do we make it this real estate and affordable to make GIFT City really comparable? Because today our advantage of GIFT City is, when you come to GIFT, the cost is supposed to be lower. The cost is lower, that's why people want to come here. You go to Singapore, you are paying 700 rupees a square feet as a rental. You are paying here 140 rupees a rental. But this 140 has from 70 become 140. So it is already doubled. Are we saying that tomorrow with similar demand this will become 280? Then it will become 700. Then this cannot become Singapore, because then the cost advantage goes away. And the Singapore offers you a quality of life, which obviously GIFT is still building that quality of life. So I think the point that we need to deliberate is, how do we make GIFT affordable for the people coming in? And that can only happen if we make sure that the real estate is really matching to the requirements. Obviously, real estate developers will say, GIFT is a master developer. If they auction, the prices go up, our prices will also go up. I think that's a balancing required at both the sides, but this is something a reality. But today, friends, a little long to the question which was asked, what are the incentives? The incentive is whole of India. There is no place in India now which offers you a income tax exemption from the business profits. 25 વર્ષમાંથી 20 વર્ષ સુધી તમે તમારું બિઝનેસ જે ગિફ્ટ સિટી ઇન્ટરનેશનલ ફાઇનાન્શિયલ સેન્ટરમાંથી કરો છો, એમાં ઝીરો ટેક્સ છે, which is not available in any part of India. But that IFFC is limited to certain activities. It is not like been projected. Every business cannot come in the International Financial Services Center. That also has to be properly understood. So financial services, banking, insurance, asset managers, stock exchanges, finance companies, even universities, they all are operating there. The way we see it, this incentives, because it's not available, and India offers a lot of cost advantage, there will be a large number of companies coming to GIFT City in next 3 to 5 years. I think what we have seen in last 5 to 6 years is just a starting of the GIFT City now. Those 1,200, 1,300 firms can easily become 5,000 firms in next 3 to 5 years. Because that type of demand is visible in the financial services group. Now with that demand coming in, I think the whole ecosystem also has to come together as a one piece As they say, if you want to develop a city, you have to make sure that there is a people who are living there. And I think that's the part which I'm sure Loveleen and the team which are working towards to make this as a livable city is becoming more and more important now from a point of view that how GIFT can become Singapore. If we make it livable like Singapore, I think the sky is the limit for GIFT City as we stand where we are today.
सुपर डॉक्टर साहब बात कर रहे थे तभी एक डायलॉग याद आया बॉलीवुड का. अभी ट्रेलर है, पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त. वेरी वेल सेड सर. प्रशांत जी, लेट मी कम टू यू एंड आई एम टेकिंग फॉरवर्ड द कॉन्वर्जेशन, द डिस्कशन दैट वी वर हैविंग आउटसाइड. Global institutions compare us with Singapore and Dubai before choosing a jurisdiction. In your conversation with customers, both nationwide and international, what perception of GIFT City do you encounter most?
So let's start with something from my real experience with the customers. So when we have started this journey in 2016 with the GIFT City.
थोड़ा नजदीक लोगे माइक.
So in 2016 we have started journey with the GIFT City. We are just exploring those things, and rightly said by the sir by 2015 people are just looking at what happening there. And 2020 we have been allotted our land, and 22 we have launched our first project at GIFT City. Our 70% time was, or 70 to 80% time was just spent for the convince customer that what GIFT City is. So, and people mostly coming from the Gujarat side and just want to hear about something and learn about something about the GIFT City. Now, with the new project we have just launched last year. Now, any of the people, it's from the click of the social media, from the globe or any corner of the India, have never asked us what GIFT City is. Now they are comparing our projects with the others. Now what offers they are getting good, what we are going to deliver to them. So my question is that, my point of view is that now completely change over the things that about the GIFT City. Nobody wants to learn, or they are having a certain idea in their mind. So question again, can GIFT City India, Singapore? So on that front, question is changed now. Because people have a faith, yes, it's become a city of the Singapore of the India. But when is the now question is? Because jurisdiction is absolutely work is a complete framework. So global people are just asking us that there is a tax benefits are there are jurisdictions are set very well. So jurisdiction attracts the entity and city attracts the people. So now livable city is the only thing India has become India Singapore to be there in very short time. I am frequently visiting the GIFT regularly. What I see is every time I see something new. I heard something new from the authorities, because the authorities are really understand the problem, because we are the co-developers. They are the developers. And when master developer and developer both are working on the same front, somebody in the earlier payment have a point of view that if all of the people are on the same front, the growth will never be stopping to anyone else. So I think GIFT City is having all that things. Visionary authorities are there. They are interacting with the people frequently and continuously. I'm thinking nobody stops GIFT to be a Singapore of India. Singapore have passed evolving journey of 5 decades. If you see the BKC, I think they have already 3 to 4 decades of the journey. But they are evolving journey. In GIFT City, from the day one, they have a clear mindset about that, and they are working on that path. And that's how they are having a very quick journey and fast journey in comparison to any of other journey. So, thank you.
Interesting. Pavanji, I'll come to you. Very recently, this amazing movie is released, Spider-Man. और उस मूवी का सबसे फेवरेट डायलॉग मेरा वो है, with great powers comes great responsibility. I think when you are delivering large mixed use projects, it comes with unique cost and delivery challenges. As a developer, what are the biggest cost, timeline and risk challenges in delivering large-scale mixed-use projects in Gift City, and how do you mitigate them?
So in terms of complexity, I think the approval process is very transparent. It is a little time consuming because of the high standards. Okay. And it's bound to take, because Gift City's specifications for developers and the standards put in place are world class. And so obviously we complain that, oh, in India planning process takes 2 years and 3 years. In Britain it takes 5 years, 6, 7 years, to get the approvals. Here in Gift City, anywhere from 6 months to 9 months. Okay, so in Ahmedabad, for example, when there are other issues, it would take 4 months. In Gift City, it doesn't take all that much longer. See, it's always about what value you are getting in return. So when you have the highest standards, of an extra 3-4 months is very, very understandable. So there's no complaint or anything which needs to be done. Obviously, life is about continuous improvement. So they're also learning in the process along with the rest of us. When you want to do something ground shaking, it's a learning process. Can't be done overnight. So that's happening. Secondly, the complexity is because you have to meet those high standards in terms of construction as well. And not too many contractors have that capacity. And if you have built-in standards in your own company, you are not going to take those, not going to play fast and loose with those standards. So that increases the time and the cost. So I believe that going forward, when we sign an agreement or execute an agreement with Gift City, we need to realize that yes, it's going to take 30% more than across the river in terms of delivery. Second, you have addressed cost and complexity. Yeah, cost, I guess, with all the standards that are in place, costs are approximately about 20 to 30% more. Prashant bhai? Okay, you are the CFO, so you know better than I do. I'm not the CFO of my company. I don't sign the checks. But so Dipesh bhai was mentioning that the selling price are going up because the costs are also going up. When we signed first an agreement with you in 22, and now the labor costs have doubled, actually doubled. And material costs have gone up by around 20-30%. But that's fine, that's in keeping line with lower than actually the inflation, top line inflation in India. But the labor costs, which are directly tied to food costs and energy costs, because that constitutes about 60 or 70% of the take home of a laborer's salary. Unlike you and I, where our food and energy costs, which would include our transportation and electricity and everything, would be, I think, not more than 5 to 15% in most people's cases, in the middle and the upper middle classes. So that's food inflation worldwide has been phenomenal. So we can't wish away that. And so these are the two factors. But if I may go out, any other point that you wanted me to address, which might, so cost, complexity, and so that is again a reason why we have to sell at a higher rate. And the risk is that the land costs, again I'm throwing this, bouncing it back to Dipesh bhai, the land cost which we are bidding has gone up substantially. So that has to be passed on to the consumer. So how do we not become another Singapore should be actually the title of this talk. How don't we become another Singapore? How do we do and address our own uniqueness, our own Indian uniqueness, our system of doing things in time at a very, very innovative, coming up with innovative solutions at a very, very ridiculously low cost, like the Chandrayaan moon mission. How do we have a moonshot for Gift City? How do we address that? And how do we bring talent in? The risk is
that's my second question to but that is what I want to address.
That's addressing the risk.
Yes, yeah. But I want that feedback from each one of you.
So should I stop here?
Yes, no, not stop, but then yes.
No. Still my turn comes again.
Thank you so much, sir. Loveleen ji, urban design and last mile connectivity will determine whether people choose to live and work here. As chief planner, what are the immediate infrastructure and urban design priorities to make Gift City truly livable and competitive?
Thank you, Chintan. And then probably you have, eased my job. So everything has been discussed. And thank you, Pavan bhai, very much. That he has
so the idea was सबसे मैं पहले निकलवा लूँ और फिर आप बोलो कि यार इसके लिए already काम कर चुके हम लोग.
He has brought a very, very important point. One is in terms of the global standard of Gift Cities. So it shows that we are already Singapore in terms of quality. So there is no doubt about the quality of A-grade real estate. And then we're talking about, Dipesh bhai told about that there's an influx of international banks or international services to the GIFT City. So that when we talk about those, so there's the standards which you also appreciate, we call it A-grade real estate. So Pavan bhai, don't worry, once your product will be in the market, so you will get enough rental, which is already established in the existing real estate supply. If you see, you will appreciate it much better in all over the country, whether it's Bangalore, Hyderabad or Pune, whenever that international companies comes, so they spend a lot in changing the existing structures. So you can consider those points, but whatever the organizations, around 1100 entities and some big organizations who have occupied in the GIFT City, they have not changed even a single systems in the existing system. In a few of the interaction by me with of the few international clients, they were surprised to see that our standards are better than those. And the another part which you told about, UK takes 6 to 8 years in high-rise construction. Take same example of USA also. In USA, we talk about the approval construction process. The high-rise construction, which you talk about, around 30 stories, just compare time from those countries. And as Pavan told, we took 6 to 8 months, but immediately after allotment, we start the mobilization. So that practically your construction start from very first day. You save time on excavation, de-wall and preparation of the foundation. So the uploading and the upfronting, the activities which can faster the proposal, faster the construction approval is something which we have experimented. And thank you for all our developers who has appreciated and then who have contributed in those guidelines. So risk which Pavan was talking about, कि आज I have done the excavation but approval nahi mila. So fortunately, as in today, there is not even a single case. We are developing 30 million square feet. It's substantial amount. It will be a very, the development which is happening on a single place, dense these things. I think that's more than Singapore. If you take the 2 or 3 kilometers square of area and developing the mass development. So in those terms. Now comes to the original point, what we are doing and what livability we are planning. So as Pavan also told, Singapore is a history of 5 decades. And can you imagine when the Singapore was known as the journey to hell in 60s or before 65s. It was a sleepy fishing town, and then the positioning of the Singapore itself was considering the moment of our waterways and other stuffs, and then they started. The people from Indian and the Chinese, the guys who has built the Singapore. As on today also, you will find the maximum business entrepreneurs is Chinese in Singapore. And if we talk about next part, the Indians has built Singapore. Very less people knows these trees. The Singapore, which increased its economy, considering the port-based economy, Singapore till 90s was known as to be a port-based economy. And when the city or country develops, so they have to get matured their economic value and explore. It's something like the same businessman or a personal level. If I am getting enough from FD, then I seek the different instrument for enhancing my capital or maybe the more revenue. The same thing Singapore has done. Once they exploited the port-based economy, they come to the service industry. So we have to understand, in India we have the primaries, the agriculture base, then manufacturing, and still we are preparing ourselves for the service industries, which is most valuable or most contribution in the economy. So comparison with Singapore and the GIFT City we talk about, because GIFT City is specifically for service industries, which we call the tertiary economy. So we are very much confident that yes, we will be better than the Singapore. Because still Singapore, there are other activities of economy. And in the GIFT City when talk about. Or also we should also keep in mind, when this technology develops, So you don't need to follow the old technology. Like Indians, we as Indians are very lucky. We have not invested anything in the pager infrastructure. We have directly jumped from your landline to the mobile infrastructure. So that's called the pole vault jump towards. So by creating the gift city, it's not only for the project of Ahmedabad or Gujarat, or it's a country pride, as a solution for the urban development. So the people who understand कि gift is a project, जो दीपेश भाई ने बहुत clearly बताया कि fail हो जाएगा, ऐसा होगा, slowly क्या होगा. So it's a city. So we have to compare it with the cities, how the city keep growing. कैसे city grow करता है? What is the factors which make it grow? What's build the bring pupils? So now the terms which we discussed, now it's about the livability, how we will bring it. So in the first decade we developed the infrastructure. Now we are ready, or we are supplying around 25 million square feet of real A-grade real estate in the coming 2 to 3 years. Now the next layers comes of the cosmetics, which we call the livability. So beyond that livability, we in the gift city, what we are working on is vibrant urban form of leisure and entertainment. As in today we talk about our central park of 22 acres, phase 1 has been delivered there. So we have jogging track, cycling track, and the experience dining. One of the best chain from the Mumbai has developing it, its own boat, and then they are going to operationalize by October. Along that phase 2 of our central park is under construction, which we are targeting before January. It has multiple these things like water body, lighting and music show. For kids play area, dry decks. We have for the performing arts के लिए amphitheater है. And for for the leisure walks, we have done very innovative pedestrian walk. Generally, nature walk or trail walks we listen, but we have come out with the walks in the tree canopies. So there will be the wooded area which has been developed and the pedestrian bridge, so which will be crossing to the trees on the upper layer. So all these are under construction. Beyond that, if we talk about the livability, we have various segments of society. So for a city authority, it's become a difficulty also to cater the needs of all segments. So the prima facie, what we started, we have supplied the social infrastructure for the resident in terms of walking track, jogging tracks, the central parks, the destinations. Now the point comes for the business guys who comes for a short-term stay and long-term stay, maybe for the business meets. So we are experimenting, or it's under execution. In fact, one of our golf diving range, which is combination of tech and the physical. Like now the new terms is coming, games is no more games, it's like entertainment and fun also. So that is being executed. We are expecting it will be finished by the January. And other than this is our sports plaza. So though we have a sports club over there, we have all the sports, but for casual gaming. So the one sports plaza is under construction. So that's also targeted by the January or by the December. So having said that, and the finished real estate, which is targeting one of the few restaurants or few, one of the best dining experience, this is also in pipeline. So we expect by January we'll see a complete overall of the city. And in the long terms, when we target about 2030, when our around 30 million space will be available, for that we have other bigger plan. So fortunately, the riverfront will be delivered by the 2028. And to connect that riverfront, we have already had a international master plan, Singapore-based master plan. We are working how to connect blue and green infrastructures. And the only place which we will be targeting next will be something like experimental dining. So if you see, all these our international financial service centers, so they're known for their like Dubai, IFSCA, Dipesh bhai have been everywhere. Singapore might be the Canary of London. So it's not only for business. For business, after business, arts is more important for those centers. So for creating some something which is like very iconic experience of food, dining, or maybe the entertainment. It's is in plan. So which we target will be delivered by within 2 to 3 years, so that we becomes the complete package which is compared to Singapore.
सुपर्ब. क्या हुआ है, क्या हो रहा है और क्या होने वाला है. एंड बीइंग इन मुंबई, आई एम गोना टेल माय वाइफ कि 5-6 साल में जब बुलेट ट्रेन रेडी हो जाएगा तो 2 हम लोग मुंबई में रहेंगे पर खाना खाने यहाँ पे आएंगे.
हाँ, तो we wish that this become more than 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Pavan ji and Prashant ji, I want you to contribute in this question. Creating a 24/7 live work play needs creative product and partnership models. What product, placemaking or partnership innovations would you prioritize to create the ecosystem here? Yes, sir.
No, I've been mentioning this to several people at Gift City that, first, if we can have a world-class performance center in the lines of, say, the Geo Center, the Nita Money Center in Mumbai, or the Sydney Opera House, the Opera House of the Opera of Paris, or the New York metropolitan space, and world-class museums. India has a huge amount of archaeological artifacts which can be displayed here. So why don't we do that here in Gift City so that it becomes internationally known? People are drawn to staying in London, New York, Paris, or Singapore, not just because of the great infrastructure. I mean, parts of New York and those guys, they don't have that great infrastructure. But yet people go there because of this human element, of family and intellectual activity and cultural activity. After all humans, we are more, more, I would say, carbon than silicon. So the silicon part has been addressed very, very well. The chemistry and the physics by the infrastructure. Government can't do more than this. But if they can build more silicon so that more biology can be attracted from across the world. And the other thing is enable the visa system. Government is doing everything. Gift City guys are doing everything. But if a person wants to migrate from any of these other vibrant ecosystems across the world, talent is going to be migrating, right? Singapore became Singapore because it attracted talent from all over the world. It didn't close its doors. Okay, very, very easy to get a work permit. So did Silicon Valley, so did all the great ecosystems. Hong Kong. But that unfortunately, to get a work permit, even for a government official, I'm very closely involved with the Alliance Française. Just get a new director is coming in. Okay, their term is for 4 years, then they have to move somewhere. They are employees of the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the French Ministry of Home or something, 2 ministries. It takes forever. The guy is coming on 1st of September. He just got his visa yesterday. Been trying for 6 or 9 months. And this is the French government employee with whom India has the best of relations. We are buying bloody their jets. I mean, Rafale, so what could be the situation from other countries? And so that has to be done. We have to close the loop. Without talent, this is not going to happen. And the other thing that we can take, that we have done more than any other country for making it a tax-free place now for 20 years, since this March. So that has been done. That box has been ticked. The other box, what about the talent to get people to move out of, and right now the iron is hot. Just put a teaser worldwide. A lot of things are happening which should not have happened, like the war in the Middle East, in Russia, Ukraine, there's a lot of talent there. Say zero tax, and even for talented people from Mumbai, NCR, Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, zero tax for 20 years. You have to stay here in Gift City. Now with technology, you can treat this as it is treated like a foreign country, right? Except for most things. I mean, for a few things. But foreign, enclave. Have tech-enabled, we have been able to do Digi Yatra. Have a Digi passport for years. Every time you move in and out, there's no physical immigration because ultimately you're moving within India. And then you measure the number of seconds you need to spend within Gift City, you qualify as a Gift City taxpayer, resident from an income tax perspective. Now, these challenges have already been done in India. But the mindset has to be now how to attract talent. Infrastructure, put in the right team, put in enough sufficient capital, put in the enabling mechanisms of planning, FSI, Falana, Tikana, and all of that. That's there. Now this remains to be done. Build world-class entertainment and cultural centers and world-class financial enablers.
Super. Prashant, you want to add something?
I think majority of part covered by Sir. So I'm adding just a few things over that thing, because when we are saying that USA Central Park, I think similar kind of the things we are developing at Gift City. Once it's being there, I think majority of the questions would be resolved and solved. Apart that, some of the communication inside the city is still missing for everyone, because if any of the developed country, if inside the city, the transportation would be a much convenience or easy, then I think people would love to be there. Second thing, the information systems available to them, where what kind of activities are there. So it's not about the activities are there or not, but it should be informed to the people more and more that we are having this kind of activities. So when I'm moving around the city in the night, I feel alone. In Singapore, when we are talking about those things, so we want to move out into the night more, because the nightlife is the main game for anyone who are coming out from the other part of the city or globally. So I think if we focus on that, and Sir has explained much more on that front, I am sure that everything is happening very soon, and they are the real visionaries, and they are taking care of everything very soon. Thank you.
Interesting. I think the Realty Plus editorial team, यूजुअली अपन हर पैनल को 2 या 3 पेज देते हैं, बट आई एम श्योर ये वाले पैनल को कम से कम 6 से 7 पेज जाने वाला है, बिकॉज वी हैव गॉट गोल्ड टुडे. जिगर भाई, आई विल कम टू यू. Market comparisons help pinpoint gaps that still need fixing. From a transaction perspective, what are the main commercial frictions that still prevent Gift City from matching other Indian or global financial hubs? Things can't be so rosy, so good. You know, I am from Mumbai. I am here to dig.
So I know the kind of a difficult question is gonna come to me. So, but anyways, like Chintan bhai, see, if we really look at the kind of the traction from lot of global occupiers, so to say, the main reason actually, if we really look at, and that's what, you know, a lot of people might not like saying this, but ultimately most of these guys, because then globally looking at the geopolitical situation, everybody is a cost sensitive. It's not that, you know, in the early days, a lot of people used to look at that, okay, this is gonna be a smallest office in India, so then just, you know, migrate a little bit from your cost consciousness and let's do it. But the scenario is changing since, you know, last some time. And that's where, I mean, if we really look at from the most important factor point of view, the cost is something, typically pricing, what we call, is something is really, really coming up as a major issue when you really talk to all these global occupiers. I understand kind of an ecosystem that, I mean, you know, I witnessed the Gift City since it was a land and what it is today. So I know the journey. I know the kind of pain points, you know, allotting a development rights at certain amount and then what it is today. So that entire journey I'm aware of. But then when we really look at from the eyes of a guy who is sitting in somewhere in New York in their headquarters and just looking at the kind of a price going from, you know, completely north in last 3 to 4 years, that really surprised them. And then when they really ask their, you know, colleagues over here in India, they really talk about that, okay, you know, if we really look at the journey from the infrastructure point of view, it has really improved a lot. But then all of that was a kind of a mandatory infrastructure to be really, you know, plugged in to become it an IFSCA, to become an international city, to become a livable place. So then the question comes that if those are mandatory infrastructure or things which needs to be really addressed upon, how can that really change the overall scenario from, you know, 2-3 years back to today? And that's where a lot of, you know, apprehension come from those guys. But then, you know, again to address them in a rightly manner, that's what normally we does as a consultant. But then somewhere or other, this, as Dipesh bhai rightly mentioned, that it really needs to be addressed somewhere. See, I'll just go back 2010-11 when it was just a beginning of a Gift City. And we have been literally told, and Dipesh bhai must be remembered that this is not a real estate project. This is what was the mandate, you know, from Honorable PM, that time of CM, that this is not a typical real estate project where a lot of trading will happen and the price will skyrocket and stuff like that. this is something which we really wanted to give to India as an economical factor which will help the economy to grow to the next level. That was the thought of a vision of Honorable Prime Minister to really plan this city when he was CM. So, you know, all these factors when we really talk about in a current stage, these are the kind of pain points when we really talk about with all these global occupiers really come in front of us. You know, when they really talk about a journey of a price where it was and where it is today. And you know, looking at the kind of scenario, we don't see that it is really coming down in very near future.
Superb. Dipesh, very well said, you know, because whenever we have our meetings of NAREDCO NextGen, हम लोग के यूथ विंग का कभी-कभी प्लान आता है कि स्पेन जाते हैं, दुबई जाते हैं, but then people insist let's go to gift, and literally मैं बोलता हूँ कि हम लोग इंडिया में साउथ इंडिया गए हैं, हम लोग ने दिल्ली किया है, पर हमारा जो गिफ्ट का एक्सपीरियंस था उस दिन एक्चुअली समझा कि ये क्या बन रहा है. लाइक द टनल जो लाइक यू नो अहमदाबाद के लोगों को नहीं पता है, लाइक यू नो फ्रॉम गुजरात पीपल डोंट नो व्हाट वी हैव एक्चुअली क्रिएटेड. वो टनल जो है वो अभी तक ऐसा कहीं पे भी नहीं है. दैट्स समथिंग आउट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. डॉक्टर दिपेश, लेट मी कम टू यू. क्रॉस बॉर्डर ऑपरेशनल क्लैरिटी is a deciding factor for many global entrants. How is IFSCA addressing cross-border issues, talent mobility, KYC norms, tax clarity, and ease of doing business that international firms consider when choosing a base?
I think very important points which were, this all are pointing towards one thing. And if we really see the success of other financial centers, when we are particularly talking of Singapore and other, financial center has not built Singapore or the Singapore as a city. It's the other way around. Singapore as a city has built the financial center. So unless and until we understand this game, that the city is going to build financial center is not going to build city. Right now we are in the reverse scenario. You know, financial center is bringing in more and more people, institutions there, and it is trying to scale into some demand which needs to be catered through a city development. So I think if we fundamentally address this, that look, it's the city, as you rightly said, you just said that I will tell my wife to come for lunch on in a bullet train and go back. But I think the fact would be that you will say that I will tell my wife to come and start living in Gift City. I think that point, when it reaches that point, you will see the success multiplying to many factors, and that's what probably everybody involved is trying to do, make the city more and more, which is going to house more activities. Now coming to how as a financial center regulator in that zone, what we are trying to do is two things. One is obviously have a parity in whatever you do as a business. Tomorrow you want to start new business and you find that I go to Dubai and I can do India business more efficiently. We are trying to do the same. You know, you don't need to go to Dubai, Singapore, Mauritius. You can be in Gift and do the same. So cross-border business, dollar business, making payment remittances, KYC norms, you know, make them at par with what is happening globally. Today, recently we have issued several guidelines, including VSIP, which is a video-based KYC norms for NRIs, because ultimately you are going to solve NRIs in large number. We have 35, 36 million NRIs which are staying outside, and you want to connect them more efficiently through Gift City to invest into India. So for us, at the regulator, I think the single point mandate is, how do we make life easier for the institutions operating in Gift City to connect with the global opportunities and investors. And that's all our regulation, whether it is a KYC norms, whether it is onboarding norms, everything is aligned to that as a structure. But I think we also have to understand that in India, they say that once you land in India, you land into a land of regulations. Okay, you don't do anything also, you will have violated some law at some point of time. So we have to make sure that when the foreign institution come and operate here, you remove that friction, that you are operating from one single unified regulator, all your licenses, all your regulations, all your compliances are inbuilt at one place. And that comfort is now bringing into those 1,200, 1,300 firms licensed there, are now finding suddenly in last 5 years, they have not seen any major impact of operating from Gift versus operating from Singapore. They are finding on the similar scale and size. With that precedence, I think we can very confidently say that from here, which is 2026 to 2030, where we will be hosting the Commonwealth also, you can easily see that well-hundred farms can actually multiply 2-3 times in terms of that zone. But the fact is, to make it more vibrant, it is the city which is going to make the success of the financial center and not the other way around.
Very well said, sir. Loveleen ji, let me come to you. Long-term competitiveness requires embedding sustainability and digital resilience. And मेरे introduction के वक्त IGBC का mention हुआ था, तो मेरे IGBC chamber के president ने भी बोला था, please sustainability वाला point touch करना है तुझे. So protocol again, climate resilience and digital infrastructure into master plan to create a safe, smart and 24/7 mixed-use precinct comparable to global peers. What is happening with sustainability, sir?
So if we talk about the resiliency, sustainability, and the technology, how we are utilizing. So I just start from the very first things. Probably we are the first authority in the country who do approvals in the 3D. 3D means like we also take care of the jet coordinates. So which helps us in avoiding the flood-like situations. So fortunately we saw the last week flooded in the gift cities. So generally all the cities we see the TP schemes which being developed. So in the building approval systems, we just talk about the building approvals. We don't follow, we don't check what is the under the benefit or under what is the inside the road, where is the roads. So the gift cities, the planning master plan which we have trying to do it, we have done all the simulations before we put in the master plan. So the city is not only about the buildings, it's about the interface. How one resident who is staying in the buildings have an interface with the city authority or with the city when we comes to the road. In our towns, you see the other towns, you see that we create a very nice and excellent buildings. The moment I step out from my buildings, I saw again a khadda of the government or something like pani bhara hua hai. So that's a big challenge for us, how to tackle this issue. And fortunately, till today we are able to tackle that issue. Though Pavan bhai told that you take lot of time. So the time goes in testing all these parameters, whether the levels, where the stormwater drainage, where the sewer line, where it is following. We don't want a sewer inspection chambers just in front of the building when you coming out of the podiums. So these are the infrastructure is itself a structure which is inside. So no one see it, no one take care, but we take care of that infrastructure. So that it's combined gives you an experience. So the GIS based master planning which we utilize, the coordination, the geo-reference drawings, the simulations, the third party, insurance. So generally, when we do, building approvals outside, so we just see the master development plan, architectural drawings, and structural engineers ka approval bhi nahi hota, they just sign the drawings. You are the developer, you can understand. In Gift City, we hired a third party consultant for structural. It was surprise for MEP also. We are the city who gives MEP of approvals. So when we give the MEP of approvals, so we have to do the simulations, in terms of CFD analysis. People will be surprised to understand, yaar, gift mein aap ye cheez bhi karte ho. If we are giving the 4 or 5 basements, we do the simulation and see ki in case of fire, how this storm is going, how this smoke is going to come and what is the kind of intensity. So we are trying to utilize all the available technology in our master planning as well as building permissions processes. In terms of technology, when we talk about technology, so we have integrated a C4 city control command centers. If a person gets stuck in some lift, the city authority are getting a signal that your lift has got stuck on those. So for that, we cannot do alone until unless developers support that. So developers support karte hain and guidelines bhi karte hain, but ultimately they need regulations, So it's well covered in our GDCR development control regulations. We have very flexible GDCR. So everything which is engineered is acceptable in keywords. So like when we did the 7 basement, so people were asking ki are kahin pe hua nahi hai, why you are allowing these 7 basements and what precedence you are taking or something like. We did the complete simulation of the structural failures, flooding, resiliency, and we approved it. and we hired a third-party consultant over and above another third-party consultant. So the 3 review checks. If someone has done the minor mistakes, so at least a human error, we can find it out. But it's good for together that if it's the design which has been completely, vetted by the 3 guys, one is designer 2, another PCC, so we have to do it then. Because Japan, under the, earthquake Richter scale of 8, they are making the 300, 400 meter high-rise tower. So it is not like they are using rocket science. They are not using any rocket science. They are simply doing the things which is written in the codes and books and ensuring that whatever is written in codes and books is being implemented on the ground. So that's become our duty. In terms of sustainability, all the buildings are green in the GIFT City. City itself is a sustainable first city which is, platinum rated, smart, operational city. So the sustainability is by default is built in our systems. So it's not something like I'm creating a system and then I'm making it sustainable. So in terms of resiliency, sustainability, everything is inbuilt in the systems, and that we are trying to achieve together with all our developers that we really create a model which could be problems, which would be solutions for our upcoming India story of Viksit Bharat 2047 for a better urbanized cities.
Superb. I'm gonna take 2 minutes, bro. सॉरी, क्योंकि मैंने एक सरप्राइज रैपिड फायर रखा है. मैं आपको रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, प्लीज आप सब लोग अपना माइक अपने हाथ में ले लीजिए. आई एम गोना आस्क यू लाइक अ क्वेश्चन. आपको खाली एक ही वर्ड में उसका आंसर देना है. विल स्टार्ट विद यू सर. 1 word टू डिस्क्राइब गिफ्ट सिटीज ट्रैजेक्टरी ओवर नेक्स्ट 5 years. 1 word.
You will come back.
Huh?
You will shift from Bombay to Gift City.
Interesting. Yes, sir.
Vertical.
Vertical. Sir, Loveleen ji.
Is resilience, high density city a solution for urban India?
Superb. Bro.
Iconic.
Iconic.
City is a reality. Gift City is a reality.
Superb. Second, can Gift City become India's Singapore? Yes or no?
Already. We have to wait the only lifestyle over there. Otherwise, infrastructure and regulations are there.
Superb. Yes.
It can become an Indian Singapore, which is not really Singapore. It could be something different, unique to India.
It will become better than Singapore.
Unique to India.
Yeah, unique
Yeah,
to
similar. It need to be better than Singapore.
I agree to all of them.
लास्ट में बिल्डर हो तो ये पूछूंगा, बिगेस्ट सिंगल बॉटलनेक टुडे, रेगुलेशन, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और डिमांड. आंसर तो देना पड़ेगा, ऐसे नहीं चलेगा.
So, demand is there, but we want that a few more are being supported by the Gift Cities efforts across the globe. So from the India, definitely we have done many things good, but we want demand from the outside.
Pavan ji.
I already mentioned regulation at the top, visa and tax breaks.
Sir.
Say, I can say few more.
Repeat your question once again.
Sorry.
Biggest bottleneck
As in today.
as of today, regulation, infrastructure or demand?
Regulation, international financial regulations, which Dipesh bhai will say when talking about, so IFSC rules, if you want to literally create as a gift city, is a positioning as a global, so the competitive regulations with other IFSC.
सर ने बॉल आपके कोर्ट में डाला है. यस मोटा जी.
Infrastructure at affordable price.
Infrastructure at affordable price. Yes.
I have to give it back to
Yes.
Loveleen. Social infrastructure.
ओके, लास्ट पॉइंट, क्योंकि आई थिंक आई हैव बीन ट्रैवलिंग अक्रॉस इंडिया. लोग आएंगे तभी अमेजिंग चीजें होगी. बिग बेस्ट एमिनिटी टू अट्रैक्ट यंग टैलेंट, को लिविंग, नाइट लाइफ, पार्क्स और ट्रांजिट.
Nightlife.
नाइट लाइफ. हाँ, यू टोल्ड अबाउट नाइट. यस सर. आज रात को मुझे किसको कॉल करना है ना, सपना जी, आई हैव गॉट. यस मैम.
Culture happens in the night, so nightlife.
नाइट लाइफ.
Yes, the vibrant entertainment in nightlife after business hours. I will not say nightlife. I will say the after business hours.
Nightlife, certainly.
Agree.
सपना जी, आज अपना जो रियल्टी प्लस का अपना प्लान है, आई हैव few more people joining. I have to tell you, I have been doing panel discussions across India, but इतने इन्फ्लुएंशियल लोगों ने मुझे एक भी क्वेश्चन नहीं बोला कि ये मुझे मत पूछना या ये मुझे पूछना. लेट्स गिव देम अ राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज. बहुत मजा आया. और तृप्ति जी एंड सपना जी, प्लीज नेक्स्ट टाइम मुझे ऐसा कुछ कराना होगा तो प्लीज one-on-one कराने दीजिए, because you know I have so many questions to ask. But बहुत मजा. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, bro. I think I took 120 seconds extra. That's it.
Given the quality of conversation, 120 seconds, absolutely fine. Give them a bigger round of applause, please, everybody. Especially to Chintan as well for moderating this so well. I'm going to request for the token of appreciations on stage. Sapna, if you can please kindly come up on stage and give the token of appreciation. Mananji is here. Is he around? Oh yeah. So I'll request Mr. Manan Mehta, who's the esteemed co-founder and CMO at Housivity, to please kindly come up on stage. Thank you, Mr. Mehta. Give him a big round of applause, please. You can start from the left. And then I'll request him to join for a group photograph as well around. Ladies and gentlemen, ये सेशन के बाद लंच होने वाला है. जितना जोर से आप ताली बजाओगे उतने एक्सरसाइज होगा, उतने अच्छे से you will be energized to have your food. So come on, clap it up a little louder, please, everybody in the room. ये हुई ना बात. Thank you, and we'll do a nice group photograph with all of you over here at the front, please, ahead of the tables. And group photograph के time पे is the most critical time. जब आप लोग ताली बजाओगे, the group photograph turns out to be a really, really nice and memorable one. See the way they're smiling, it truly speaks volumes of the kind of work that they have done and they are all set to do in the future. Thank you so much, all you incredible leaders, for adding so much of value to this conversation. We are very, very grateful to you. And we look forward to hearing you the next time when we do this, which would be the 19th Realty Plus Conclave.